My favorite memory of university would revolve around being a residence life don. So I went to the University of Waterloo, as I'd shared before. I hope I don't get booed for saying that out loud, and was part of the residence life team there. And just the people I got to meet and the students that I got to, I guess, impact throughout their student experience, that was definitely a highlight for me. And probably I lived in France for a year as well as part of my program, so I have a fondness for pastries and wine as a result. So that was that was a pretty good highlight as well. My favorite spot on campus is probably, I would say, just on the grassy area outside seminary, where you can kind of get a good view of the university, and on a nice sunny day it's beautiful and there's lots of people hanging out there, so I quite enjoy that. I tend to like to be outdoors more than indoors. And my favorite spot off campus, I very much enjoy Waterloo Park. I like to see the animals and walk through there, and if I can have Dairy Queen while I'm doing that, even better. I have read recently a whole lot of different leadership books, and so one of my favorite ones at the moment is called Switch, and it's about how to lead change when change is hard. A book that I always defer back to would probably, just for an enjoyable read, would probably be something by, who would I say was one of my favorite authors? Very much in the, I'm thinking of all the school books I've had to read lately. Okay, I'm going to come back to you on that one. Okay. Favorite movie, though, is something that's not scary with not a lot of suspense, because people who know me well know that I'm very jumpy, and I tend to like things that have happy endings and good closure, and if there's romance involved, all the better. I just saw Date Night most recently. I don't get out to the movies a lot anymore. I know it's been out for probably 5 months, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a good laugh. Well, we get the local newspaper, as most people do. I try to find time to read that, especially on the weekends. I tend to be online a lot, just by virtue of working at a university where we work on the computer. And I also subscribe to a number of magazines, and like to get online mailing list type thing, especially ones about issues related to higher education right now and what's happening in terms of trends that really affect the students that I'm working with. So. Probably Paris, and having studied in France for the year, I developed a fondness for just the architecture and the history and the food, and there's a culmination of a whole bunch of things that I really enjoy and appreciate. I've had the good fortune to travel quite a fair bit in Europe, having lived in England for a year as well, and I think for me a lot of it is about the people that you meet along the way, though. It's what makes your memories of a place fond, is that the adventures that you've had with the people that you meet while you're there. Well, right now it would be going to Holden's room, because he's usually crying, "Mom, come get me!" Not in those words, and not words that anyone else can understand, because he's still babbling and not actually speaking yet. But generally one of the first things I like to do is have my cup of tea. I'm a tea girl. My parents are British, and I've grown up with tea from a very young age. And I blame that for my love for sugar, because I'm sure my mom put sugar in it starting when I was about 2, and now cannot drink anything that's not sweet.
So your predecessor has a Mercedes. Not to pit you against each other, but what kind of wheels do you have?
Your questions are so perfect, because I just spent some time last weekend talking to my husband, and again, the motivation being that we have a young family and we have car seats, and so I was saying to my husband, I think it's time to get a minivan, and he was appalled at the suggestion and said there is no way that that is going to be my near future. I currently drive a Toyota Echo that I fondly named Eddie, but I have a feeling Eddie's days are numbered, and in terms of what the next vehicle will be, I think it will not be a minivan at this point in time, but I'll have to keep you informed about that one. No decision's been made as of yet. It's not really a food group. I love chocolate. I often have a chocolate drawer that I keep stashed just for those 3 o'clock afternoons when you're feeling a little tired. I love Indian food as well, as a result of living in England. And although you would think it would be fish and chips that would be their national dish, but actually Indian is the most popular national dish in England. And favorite beverage, chocolate milk, going along with the chocolate theme. And I also I enjoy a glass of red wine on Friday night after a good week. So. I do. My favorite quote is by Neil Walsh, and it reads, "A true master is not the one who creates the most students, but the one who creates the most masters. A true leader is not the one with the most followers, but the one who creates the most leaders." And for me, that very much speaks about my philosophy of leadership, which is it's our privilege and responsibility in leadership roles to foster leadership in other people and to expose them to opportunities that help them develop their own leadership potential. Well, I'd love to tell you that I enjoy things like reading and scrapbooking and exercising, but right now, again, having a little one at home, it's a lot more play group and playing with trucks and the wading pool. But when I do have free time, I enjoy being outdoors, and whether that's camping or going for walks or whatever it may be, just like to try to be active and try to be healthy and maintain balance, and that will be a good priority for us this year, is trying to make sure that I'm modeling for people the importance of having good priorities in terms of not getting so overwhelmed and focused with one task that you lose sight of your other ones. So.